The Daddy Letters series. Season 3. Letter 54. Part 2. The Reading List. We promised you a carefully vetted reading list that addresses a wide variety of topics to prepare you for marriage. We favored Christian writers, and writers whose works support the Christian worldview. To make it easy for you to find these books, we provided a video that contains photos of the book covers. We also grouped the books into the following categories: books to prepare you for marriage and the honeymoon, books to improve communications, books to educate you about gender differences, books for advanced marital relationship skills, and books to educate you about sexual intimacy. The photo of each book is accompanied by a brief audio summary of what the book offers, so you know why we chose it for you, and so you can easily select the material you want to focus on. We suggest you make this reading list the object of many of your future dates, reading together and discussing, or reading separately and coming together to discuss. This is a very long list, and we don't expect you to read every book on the list before your wedding day. We do recommend you complete all the books in the Preparing for Marriage group, and then at least 3 books of your choice from all the other groups before your wedding day. After the honeymoon, you can schedule time to read the rest of the books together. Be specific with each other about how you plan to implement what you learn in your relationship. There is a saying that goes, "If it is not written, it's not a plan, it's a dream." So write your plans down and revise them often. Click the link to start the video.
The Prepare for Marriage group. This group of books was selected to prepare your mind, heart, and expectations for the marriage and honeymoon. These preparatory books provide skills and insights to get your marriage off to a great start. Sheet Music: Uncovering the Secrets of Sexual Intimacy in Marriage by Kevin Leman. For married couples and those engaged to be married, Sheet Music is a practical guide to sex according to God's plan. In his characteristic style, the author addresses a wide spectrum of people, from those with no sexual experiences to those with past sexual problems or even abuse.
Things I Wish I'd Known Before We Got Married by Gary Chapman. Most people spend far more time in preparation for their vocation than they do in preparation for marriage. No wonder the divorce rate hovers around 50%. Best-selling author and marriage counselor Gary Chapman hopes to change that with his book. Gary put together this practical little book packed with wisdom and tips that will help many develop the loving, supportive, and mutually beneficial marriage men and women long for. If Only He Knew: A Valuable Guide to Knowing, Understanding, and Loving Your Wife by Gary Smalley is the perfect guide for husbands who want to love their wives and strengthen their marriages in a way like never before. Explaining a woman's deepest needs, showing men how to meet those needs, and it gives 10 simple steps to strengthen any marriage. It helps men understand how to respond to a woman's feelings and make her feel important. The Birth Order Book: Why You Are the Way You Are by Dr. Kevin Leman. The order in which we are born has a powerful, far-reaching influence on the way we interact with others, at home, at work, with friends, and in the public square. Anyone who wants to gain understanding about the ways they interact with others, and even overcome ingrained tendencies they never thought they'd be rid of, will love Dr. Leman's insightful book. The 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work: A Practical Guide from the Country's Foremost Relationship Expert by John Gottman, Ph.D., is an eminently practical guide to an emotionally intelligent and long-lasting marriage. The 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work has revolutionized the way we understand, repair, and strengthen marriages. These principles teach partners new approaches for resolving conflicts, creating new common ground, and achieving greater levels of intimacy. What Your Mother Couldn't Tell You and Your Father Didn't Know: Advanced Relationship Skills for Better Communication and Lasting by John Gray. This essential resource guide contains relationship skills that will help you and your mate sustain a lasting relationship that only grows richer with time. Learn what women need most and men really want, how men and women think and feel differently, and secrets of lasting passion. 101 Questions to Ask Before You Get Engaged by H. Norman Wright. More than half of all couples who become engaged this year will never make it to the altar. Why? Leading experts believe it's because couples fail to really get to know their potential mate before getting engaged. Relationship expert and noted couples counselor Norm Wright steers potential brides and grooms through a series of soul-searching questions to discern if they've really met the one. Saving Your Marriage Before It Starts: 7 Questions to Ask Before and After You Marry, by Les Parrott and Leslie Parrott, helps you launch lifelong love. This is an experience, especially when you use the His/Her workbooks filled with more than 40 fun exercises. Get ready for deeper intimacy with the best friend you'll ever have. Now you can discover how to leverage your personalities for a love that lasts a lifetime.
The Communications Group. This group of books help you begin developing the most important skill there is in marriage, and that is the ability to communicate. This information is helpful before you marry and afterwards.
Communication in Marriage: How to Communicate with Your Spouse Without Fighting, by Marcus Cusi and Ashley Cusi. No matter what communication problems you struggle with, you can learn how to communicate effectively with your spouse. This book will show you why we all communicate differently, why trust is an essential aspect of effective communication in marriage, how to communicate through conflict, even with a difficult spouse, how to communicate through difficult emotions, and more. How to Improve Your Marriage Without Talking About It, by Patricia Love and Stephen Stosny, teaches couples how to get closer in ways that don't require trying to turn a man into a woman. Rich in stories of couples who have turned their marriages around, and full of practical advice about the behaviors that make and break marriages, this essential guide will help couples find love beyond words. Everybody Wins: The Chapman Guide to Solving Conflicts Without Arguing, by Maurice England and Dr. Gary Chapman. A simple blueprint for achieving solutions to everyday disagreements without having to have a winner and a loser. By learning how to listen empathetically, respecting each other's ideas and feelings, and understanding why some issues are so important to your spouse, you can turn conflict into closeness. 7 Communication Skills of Successful Marriages, by Emil Harker, has practical strategies you'll find easy to remember and apply. You will learn the secret attitude for marriage success, what you need to say to get what you want, and how to respond to your spouse when he or she is frustrated, disappointed, or hurt. Now You're Speaking My Language: Honest Communication and Deeper Intimacy for a Stronger Marriage, by Gary Chapman, encourages husbands and wives to offer steadfast loyalty, forgiveness, empathy, and commitment to resolving conflict, thus encouraging each other in spiritual growth. The Mindful Marriage: 10 Tips for Great Communication, by Diane Strausser. By using the simple tools in this book, it's possible to strengthen your marriage and all other relationships. These tips can be implemented in your marriage immediately. There is no need to read books that are hundreds of pages. This little jewel can give you immediate change and create a sense of safety in your marriage. Mindfulness is easy, it's fun. The Relationship Communication Cure: Communication Mistakes Almost Every Couple Makes and How to Fix Them, by Joshua Larson. Did you grow up in a dysfunctional family or had problems learning proper communication without aggression or guilt? Are conflicts in your relationship escalating way more often than you would like to, and even seemingly small things lead to big discomfort for both of you? Do you simply want to find a better, more loving way to communicate with your partner genuinely? If you answered yes to at least one of the questions above, then this guide is specifically written to cater to your needs. When Sorry Isn't Enough: Making Things Right with Those You Love, by Gary Chapman and Jennifer Thomas. Even in the best of relationships, all of us make mistakes. In this book, unveil new ways to effectively approach and mend fractured relationships. Even better, you'll discover how meaningful apologies provide the power to make your friendships, family, and marriage stronger than ever before. The Gender Traits Group. This group of books provides deep insights into the differences between men and women, and how to use that knowledge to your advantage to build a great marriage. His Brain, Her Brain: How Divinely Designed Differences Can Strengthen Your Marriage, by Walt and Barb Larimore. In a world where men and women are constantly told they are not different, His Brain, Her Brain shows couples what they instinctively know. Men and women are different, and these divinely designed differences, when understood, make a marriage stronger and happier. Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus: The Classic Guide to Understanding the Opposite Sex, by John Gray. This is a classic guide to understanding the opposite sex. It provides a practical and proven way for men and women to improve their communication and relationships, by acknowledging the differences between them. Hedges, 7 Ways to Love Your Wife and Protect Your Marriage by Jerry B. Jenkins. How do you protect your marriage from the temptations surrounding you? You set boundaries or plant hedges. Jenkins shares a list he created and adheres to as a gift of love for his wife. These rules are intended to protect his marriage by guarding his eyes, his heart, and his hands. His needs, her needs, making romantic love last. How to identify and satisfy 10 vital needs in your marriage. A practical relationship guide for couples by Willard F. Harley Jr. More than any other, this book helps husbands and wives give each other what they need most in marriage. This book will help you understand the 10 most vital needs of men and women, become irresistible to your spouse, and love more creatively and sensitively. Love and Respect, the love she most desires, the respect he desperately needs by Emerson Eggerichs. Come discover one of the greatest secrets to a successful relationship. Help you and your spouse achieve a deeper level of intimacy by stopping the crazy cycle of conflict, developing better communication skills, and enjoying renewed passion. Cracking the communication code between husband and wife involves understanding one thing, that unconditional respect is as powerful for him as unconditional love is for her.
The Marriage Relationship Group. This group of books helps readers dive deep into the skills and knowledge required to build a happy, long-lasting marriage and overcome the problems that come between couples.
The Meaning of Marriage, Facing the Complexities of Commitment with the Wisdom of God by Timothy Keller. Keller delivers an extraordinarily insightful look at the keys to happiness in marriage, using the scriptures as his guide to show readers what God's call to marriage is, and why this is such a powerful call. He talks in frank terms about the difficulties that couples have, and how they can best work them out while keeping their faith in God intact. Loving Your Spouse When You Feel Like Walking Away, Real Help for Desperate Hearts in Difficult Marriages by Gary Chapman. What to do when you feel like giving up. This book teaches people in desperate marriages how to recognize and reject the myths that hold you captive, better understand your spouse's behavior, take responsibility for your own thoughts, feelings, and actions, and make choices that can have a lasting, positive impact on you and your spouse. The DNA of Relationships by Gary Smalley. Life is relationships, the rest is just details. We are designed for relationships, yet they often bring us pain. In this paradigm-shifting book, Dr. Gary Smalley unravels the DNA of relationships. We are made for 3 great relationships, with God, others, and ourselves, and all relationships involve choice. The 5 Love Languages, The Secret to Love That Lasts by Gary Chapman. Falling in love is easy. Staying in love, that's the challenge. How can you keep your relationship fresh and growing amid the demands, conflicts, and just plain boredom of everyday life? In the 5 Love Languages, you'll discover the secret that has transformed millions of relationships worldwide. Whether your relationship is flourishing or failing, the 5 Love Languages is as practical as it is insightful. Expectation Hangover, Overcoming Disappointment in Work, Love, and Life by Christine Hassler. When our expectations are met and things go according to plan, we feel accomplished, in control, and on track. But when life does not live up to our expectations, we end up with an expectation hangover. This book gives you a treatment plan for how to process expectation hangovers on the emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual levels. Marriage Matters by Tony Evans. According to pastor and teacher Tony Evans, marriages deteriorate not because we no longer get along, but because we have lost sight of the purpose and prosperity of the marriage covenant. Marriage Matters examines the nature of this covenant, or agreement, we enter into on our wedding day. The Secret Language of Successful Couples, The Keys for Unlocking Love by Bill Farrell and Pam Farrell, teaches why it's so hard for married couples to get in sync with each other. Marriages operate by a secret language, a collection of key words, actions, insights, and attitudes that determine how a couple's relationship works. If that language is uncovered, love grows and flourishes. If that language remains a mystery, love gets buried behind misunderstandings and irritations. Uncommon Marriage, What We've Learned About Lasting Love and Overcoming Life's Obstacles Together by Tony Dungy and Lauren Dungy. In Uncommon Marriage, Tony and Lauren share the secrets that hold them together, revealing what they've learned so far about being a good husband or wife, getting through times of loss, grief, or change, staying connected despite busy schedules, supporting each other's dreams and goals, and helping each other grow spiritually. 10 Lessons to Transform Your Marriage. America's Love Lab experts share their strategies for strengthening your relationship. By John M. Gottman, Julie Schwartz Gottman, and Joan DeClaire, provides vital tools, scientifically based and empirically verified, that you can use to regain affection and romance lost through years of ineffective communication. The Marriage Clinic, a scientifically based marital therapy, by John M. Gottman, Ph.D. Here one will find not only a wide range of succinct and useful assessment procedures, but also a highly specific, research-based, and modularized treatment program. In addition, there are dozens of questionnaires and interview protocols to be used in both assessment and intervention. In prospective long-term research with over 700 couples, Gottman has discovered certain factors that distinguish happy, stable couples from both unstable, ultimately divorcing couples and stable but unhappy couples. Married to Distraction, Restoring Intimacy and Strengthening Your Marriage in an Age of Interruption, by Edward Hallowell, Sue Hallowell, and Melissa Orloff. Modern marriage is busy, distracted, and overloaded to extremes, with ever-increasing lists of things to do, superficial electronic connections, and interrupted moments. There are straightforward and effective ways to maneuver your marriage out of the destructive roadblocks created by the avalanche of busy living. The Love Dare, by Alex Kendrick and Stephen Kendrick. A 40-day challenge for husbands and wives to understand and practice unconditional love. Whether your marriage is hanging by a thread or healthy and strong, the Love Dare is a journey you need to take. 31 Days to a Happy Husband, What a Man Needs Most from His Wife, by Arlene Pellicane. Pellicane identified 5 keys that will give wives a new appreciation and understanding of how to love and care for their mates. This book offers wives a 31-day, no-holding-back, life-changing building program for their marriages. 31 Days to Becoming a Happy Wife, by Arlene Pellicane. Being a happy wife has more to do with choice than circumstance. It begins with your personal decision to choose happiness. Arlene Pellicane explores 5 character traits you can choose to develop in your journey toward happiness. Organized into 31 daily readings, her biblically based insights will show you the way to become hopeful, adaptable, positive, purposeful, and yielded. 10 Stupid Things Couples Do to Mess Up Their Relationships, by Laura C. Schlesinger. One of America's top radio hosts gives her inimitable take on intimate relationships. Dr. Laura addresses the problems men and women face in finding peace, joy, and single and married fulfillment in relationships. She identifies the 10 most common mistakes people make that mess up their relationships. Your Time-Starved Marriage, How to Stay Connected at the Speed of Life, by Les and Leslie Parrott. Feeling overscheduled and underconnected as a couple? This book helps you connect your time styles and your hearts so you can better manage your time. This is not a book about being more productive, but a book about being more connected with your spouse and maximizing the moments you have together. Boundaries in Marriage, Understanding the Choices That Make or Break Loving Relationships, by Henry Cloud and John Townsend. Learn how setting healthy boundaries in your marriage can strengthen or even save your relationship with your spouse. Most marital conflicts are boundary conflicts where one person crosses the lines of responsibility and respect. Whether you're happy in your marriage and want to keep growing, or if you're struggling with increasing disconnection, Boundaries in Marriage will give you the tools you need. Crazy Little Thing Called Marriage, 12 Secrets for a Lifelong Romance, by Greg Smalley and Aaron Smalley. Every couple who wants a happy marriage will appreciate the revitalizing secrets in Crazy Little Thing Called Marriage. In it, Dr. Greg and Aaron Smalley explore the traits of a healthy and thriving marriage, based on research of thousands of strong couples across the country. Cherish, by Gary Thomas. The way we treat something acknowledges whether we cherish it or hold it with indifference or contempt. To truly cherish something is to go out of our way to show it off, protect it, and honor it. Thomas reminds us that in a world desperate for marriage redemption, the act of cherishing is needed now more than ever. Cherishing your spouse will elevate your marriage relationally, emotionally, spiritually, and even physically. The 4 Seasons of Marriage, by Gary Chapman. Spring, summer, winter, fall. Marriages are perpetually in a state of transition, continually moving from one season to another, perhaps not annually, as in nature, but just as certainly and consistently. This book describes these recurring seasons of marriage, helping you and your spouse identify which season your marriage is in, and showing you how to enhance your marriage in all 4 seasons. Take the Date Night Challenge, 52 Creative Ideas to Make Your Marriage Fun, by Aaron Smalley, Dr. Greg Smalley. a great resource to spice up your date night and keep it interesting. Fun Loving You, Enjoying Your Marriage in the Midst of the Grind by Ted Cunningham. God created marriage to be a blast, even when it feels like the rest of life is going to explode. This refreshing book will help you laugh together again, make sex even more exciting than on your honeymoon, discover how to make doing dishes together a party, and fight as teammates, not opponents. Happily Ever After, 6 Secrets to a Successful Marriage by Gary Chapman shows couples how to successfully navigate the 6 most common problems that couples face: fighting fair, negotiating change, managing money, getting along with your in-laws, raising kids, and maintaining a healthy sex life. A Lasting Promise, The Christian Guide to Fighting for Your Marriage by Scott M. Stanley, Daniel Trathen, Savannah McCain, and B. Milton Bryan. Solutions to common problems, facing conflicts, problem solving, improving communication, and dealing with core issues within a Christian framework. Filled with sacred teachings of Scripture, the latest research on marriage, and clear examples from the lives of couples. The book helps couples improve communication, understand commitment, bring more fun into their relationship, and enhance their sex lives. Pray Big for Your Marriage, The Power of Praying God's Promises for Your Relationship by Will Davis. Marriage benefits tremendously from prayer. This book teaches people how to pray big for even the little things in life. Davis helps readers combine God's teachings on marriage with his promises on prayer. He shows men and women how to pray specific, pinpoint prayers for their spouses, complete with a month-long prayer plan. Sacred Marriage by Gary Thomas. The author uncovers the ways that your marriage can become a doorway to a closer walk with God and with each other. He invites you to see how God can use your relationship with your spouse as a discipline and a motivation to love God more and reflect more of the character of His Son. You'll find practical advice and techniques to make your marriage happier by becoming holier husbands and wives. Stopping Stress Before It Stops You, A Game Plan for Every Mom by Dr. Kevin Leman. Dr. Kevin Leman has seen scores of women who are overcome by stress. With humor, insight, and practical solutions, this best-selling author helps women manage the stress points in their lives: kids, career, husband, housework, money, and crammed schedules. Women will find out how to begin enjoying a more serene lifestyle by making stress work for them. Strange New World, How Thinkers and Activists Redefined Identity and Sparked the Sexual Revolution by Carl R. Trueman and Ryan T. Anderson. From philosophy to technology, tracing the origin of identity politics and how should the church respond. Historian Carl R. Trueman discusses our era of expressive individualism and the history of Western thought to the distinctly sexual direction of present-day identity politics, and explains the modern implications of these ideas on religion, free speech, and personal identity. A Practical Guide to Culture, Helping the Next Generation Navigate Today's World by John Stonestreet and Brett Kunkle. We don't have to lose the next generation to culture. In this practical guide, John Stonestreet and Brett Kunkle explore questions including: what unseen undercurrents are shaping 21st century youth culture? Why do so many kids struggle with identity? How do we talk to kids about same-sex marriage and transgenderism? With biblical clarity, this is the practical go-to manual to equip kids to rise above the culture.
The Physical Intimacy Group. This group of books focuses on helping you perfect your romantic and sexual aspects of marriage, and acquainting you with some of the challenges you will face, from boredom to temptation.
Turn Up the Heat, A Couple's Guide to Sexual Intimacy by Kevin Leman. With his trademark humor and wit, Dr. Leman offers frank answers to the questions all of us have about sex and how to use it the way God intended. The Gift of Sex, A Guide to Sexual Fulfillment by Clifford L. Penner and Joyce J. Penner. Satisfaction eludes many couples in the bedroom, but with solid biblical advice, you can experience the gift that sex is meant to be. Guidance on anatomy and physical dysfunction, communication, and techniques make this manual ideal for newlyweds or long-married pairs. Includes illustrations and exercises for married couples. What are you waiting for? The One Thing No One Ever Tells You About Sex by Dana Gresh. If you're a young woman looking for honest answers about sex and wondering why it's such a big deal to God, you've come to the right place. In these pages, you'll discover a life-changing truth that no one ever talks about. A truth that will transform everything you think you know about sex, romance, and God. Sex Begins in the Kitchen, Creating Intimacy to Make Your Marriage Sizzle by Dr. Kevin Leman. Sex Begins in the Kitchen shows couples everywhere how to bring more passion into their marriages. Dr. Kevin Lehman explains how sexual intimacy is an expression of the care a couple shows each other in all areas of life, in communicating, sharing thoughts and feelings, and even in helping out around the house. It Takes One to Tango: How I Rescued My Marriage with Almost No Help from My Spouse, and How You Can Too by Winifred M. Riley. It Takes One to Tango is a groundbreaking guide that shows how one determined partner, acting alone, can spark lasting, significant change in a marriage, often accomplishing change that cannot be made any other way. The Wounded Heart: Hope for Adult Victims of Childhood Sexual Abuse by Dan B. Allender, Ph.D. Sexual abuse knows no religious or social boundaries. The Wounded Heart takes an intensely personal and specific look at this form of abuse. Dr. Allender explores the secret lament of the soul, damaged by sexual abuse, and lays hold of the hope buried there by the one whose unstained image we all bear. Also includes information about false memory issues. Reclaiming Intimacy: Overcoming the Consequences of Premarital Relationships by Heather Jameson. Statistics reveal that nearly 80% of Americans, including Christians, fail to remain virgins until marriage. Our culture says that's no big deal. Reality is, though, sex outside of marriage results in guilt and resentment that can greatly weaken any marriage relationship that follows. This book helps readers overcome the impact of playing house before saying, "I do." Intended for Pleasure: Sex Technique and Sexual Fulfillment in Christian Marriage. Ed Wheat, M.D., Gay Wheat, and Dennis Rainey. This is a reference book that combines biblical teaching on love and marriage with the latest medical information on sex and sexuality. This popular resource gently encourages married couples to make their sexual relationship the fulfilling experience it was meant to be. Hooked: The Brain Science on How Casual Sex Affects Human Development by Joe S. McElhaney Jr., M.D., Freda McKissick Bush. Hooked is about what's happening to your brain when you're having sex. With scientific data put in layman's terms, this book demonstrates that sexual activity creates emotional bonds, great news for marriages but not for casual partners. Once formed, breaking these bonds can have damaging effects on the brain, such as depression and difficulty bonding with someone else in the future. The continual forming and breaking of these bonds can have permanent effects on a person's brain. Your Brain on Porn: Internet Pornography and the Emerging Science of Addiction by Gary Wilson. Compulsive porn use is now recognized as a pathology by the world's leading health experts. As soon as high-speed internet became widely available, growing numbers of people began to worry that their porn use was running out of control. Internet pornography can be seriously addictive and damaging. This book offers advice for those who want to stop using internet pornography. Written in a simple, clear language, and rooted firmly within the principles of neuroscience and behavioral psychology. The Porn Myth: Exposing the Reality Behind the Fantasy of Pornography by Matt Fradd. The porn myth is a non-religious response to the commonly held belief that pornography is a harmless or even beneficial pastime. Author Matt Fradd draws on the experience of porn performers and users, and the expertise of neurologists, sociologists, and psychologists to demonstrate that pornography is destructive to individuals, marriage, relationships, and society. Your familial board worked hard to compile this list of books, and we believe it will be a blessing for you before your honeymoon, and in the years that follow. We intentionally left out books about raising children because you plan to delay their arrival for a few years. But when you are ready, we will be happy to recommend good reading on marriage after children and parenting techniques. We love you. Your familial board.